Hello, everybody. My name is Landon Isabel. Welcome to the ETA Files.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this week on ETA Files. We got a special guest. Really excited about this one. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Memphis's very only Landon Isabel. How you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. How about you?
Oh, doing fine. Don't say sir. Golly, I'm already old enough, Landon. Man, this is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I appreciate you. You're from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, I am.
All right, that's awesome. Now, 19 years old,
Yes,
right?
currently.
Uh, yes. Uh, you've been how long have you been performing as Elvis? This is awesome. I just heard your name. A lot of people are your name is getting out there. I mean, I don't know if you realize it's not or not, but your name is getting out there in the Elvis tribute artist world. How long have you been doing this?
So far, 3 years.
3 years.
March 2022 again.
So you started in 2022, 3 years ago, 16 years old.
Yes.
All right. Uh, how did you get involved in it?
Well, I was researching Elvis, and I was like, huh. Like I used to think he was a movie character because I was thought no one was this cool in real life. But then I did research, and I was like, he's an actual person that's was here in the world, and he lived in Memphis. And I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool to have a Memphis hero that I can look up to. And I researched about that, and then I heard there's festivals. I'm like, seriously, there's festivals to this guy? And then it was the Nashville Ultimate Elvis Festival. They had a kids competition, and my mom signed me up for it. I'm like, cool. And I think I did Suspicious Minds, and my mom made me my jumpsuit. She made the powder uh, blue nail jumpsuit, and I was like, it was so awesome. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So this is just something that kind of happened organically. You researching it for just because or just like school? What was it?
It was for myself, really. First, I heard Elvis Blue Christmas. I was very little, like 4 or 5, around that age, and I heard him on the radio at my uncle's house. I was like, "Who's this?" And it was he. My uncle told me it was Elvis. And I was like, "Huh, who is Elvis?" So I had to research him, and then I saw him singing Blue Christmas at the '68 comeback special. I'm like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
this got to be like a movie or something."
Musically, do you play any instruments? Do you have any background in that at all?
Yes. Before I was in Elvis, I was in band for 5 years, and I was also in choir. But when I'm at home, I like to play piano a little bit and the guitar.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. Musical family, do you consider it or just, like everybody else's normal musicality?
That's my family. They used to dabble in music a little bit. My mom, my whole family, they was in band when they were in high school. But I pretty much picked it up from all of them playing music myself. So.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I didn't really have much of a musical background growing up. We didn't have really music wasn't much of my upbringing. And when I got into this crazy world of Elvis many years ago, it was like my eyes opened. And man, I tell you what, I got to be honest with you. The best thing that ever happened to me was working with legends in concert um, because I didn't have any knowledge of any kind of musicians, you know. I get to see like these world class tribute artists. And granted, it's not the original, but there's some really amazing people that come through Legends in Concert. And I actually get to know like the artists' music through these world class impersonators. So my life has been enriched through this medium of impersonation or, tribute artists. No doubt about it. So I think that's awesome, man. Let me ask you the obvious question everyone's going to just, here we are, Landon Isabel. And they're going to look at you and they're going to say, well, that guy's not a white guy, in much the way, same way that Toki Toyokazu, good buddy of mine from Japan, who gets a top five last 2 years ago at the Ultimate, and doesn't even speak English. Um, a lot of people would look at that Landon as like I don't know, a hurdle or something. How do you view it? Because I know guys like Robert Washington, it's not a hurdle. It's not a hurdle at all. So how do you view that in this day and age? Obviously not being some white guy doing Elvis, What do you got to say about it?
Well, for me, I think it's pretty cool because I mean, honestly, like it's to me, Elvis, he was his own entity. And so I picked up on how he was so diverse in different musical genres, country, rock, soul, gospel, all this. And I picked up on him doing the blues and the gospel. I'm like, this is so cool. He's doing African American music, and it's so awesome to hear. And especially during those times when people was divided, but for him to do that, and it was just so cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I appreciated about him.
I think it's awesome because I feel like, in an awesome sort of way, this is a perfect opportunity. You have an awesome opportunity to help bring people together, man. And I love it. I think it's awesome.
Thank you.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts of it, man. The Elvis of it all. All right. Uh, what is it? What I mean, you said that you went to Nashville for the youth competition. You were in a jumpsuit. Do you always do that? I mean, you look so young. You're a young buck up and coming, but is it the 70s Elvis that you love, or do you like other parts of it? What is it?
I like it all, but for competition, I stick to the 70s. Even though he was an older guy, I stick to the younger version of him in the 70s. In Vegas, he's getting to it 1969, 1970. He was still a younger guy, so I pretty much do that and I dabble in that. But I like to, if I'm doing a show, I like to dabble in a little bit of everything if I can, possibly.
All right, man. I mean, you're so young. Do you do like the 50s moves?
I try my best. That's all I can say. I try, but
Oh,
I
I loved getting older. Seriously, Landon, I loved getting older, so I didn't have to try to do them anymore. It's just like I'm not that coordinated, but it is kind of funny. Uh, Back in the day, man, because I started out just 50s and did it literally as Elvis did it. Went 50s movies, 68, and then jumpsuit. But the style of singing and Elvis's look and his movements and his vocals were different in all these different eras. Do you sense that as well?
most definitely, especially if you look at Elvis in the 50s, just imagine him wearing a gold lame suit in the 70s with long sideburns, just big hair, just wearing a gold lame suit in the 70s. But I think it's pretty cool because, like, it shows his progression and how he progresses through the eras, and how he also said that time changes and, he tries to adapt to it well. And yeah, I think he did it pretty well.
Yeah, he did, man. He did. No doubt about it. So you're out there and you're performing these songs. Is it, everybody does this for a different reason. You kind of described how you got into it, but now that you're actually out there doing it and people are beginning to notice you, that's the thing. People are beginning to notice you. And when that happens, this is what everybody does. Everybody's like, if you're new, everybody loves you, you know, but once people start noticing you, then everyone just starts taking notes. They're like looking at you and they're like, everybody has to be categorized. Oh, that guy can sing great. That guy can dance great. That guy looks good. That guy moves, whatever. Everybody gets categorized. I just talked to a young buck named Liam Hewitt, and he gets categorized a certain way. We were talking about it. How do you get categorized? What's your in your opinion, what you think people think, but also, your own assessment of yourself. What's your strengths? What's your awesomeness?
I would say that what everyone knows me for is my energy. I always doing like patch it up, poke salad. I do a whole lot of energy songs. That's what people know me for. And I just move across the stage, just flying across and doing whatever I can. But I do those, but I also do the ballads, bridge over troubled water, just pretend. So I like to keep a different variety of what I do. I can do this and I can do that, but I can still do it all to just matches up together.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Living in Memphis, have you? I'm assuming you've had to have been down to Graceland, right? Right?
I live a block away from it.
Are you serious? Yeah.
Literally,
See.
like I can. It's like a 30, 10, 20 minute walk
Yeah. Wow.
away.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
So you can, yeah. And so you've been like, well, any given day, if you wanted to, you could get up there and go up early in the morning to the gates or up to the grave and all that stuff if you wanted to. They have that.
Well, yeah, I would, but I got school, so I try
Yeah,
to go whenever I can.
I
So
got you. I got you. Do you feel that being that close, that close, through growing up might have had some impact, at least on bringing Elvis into your life a little bit, and seeing the, you know, golly, it's kind of a fiasco. Everything that goes on at Graceland, people from all over the world, and you're like right there, almost at ground zero. Does that like? Do you think that had some impact?
it most definitely did because like every time I go to school in the morning, I was like, Mom, we gotta pass by. We have to pass by. I tell my mom like, I know it's gonna make us late probably, but we gotta pass by.
That's
So
awesome.
we always pass by every morning, like for elementary, middle school, high school even. I was heading to school, always gotta pass by. I say, Hey Elvis, how you doing?
Yeah.
Passing by. It was just so cool to see, man. It's just so surreal, especially during Christmas time or when the lights are all on. It's just crazy to see. Like, wow, it's got the coolest house on the block.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. You know what's so funny too? Being there, um, it's not like, I think a lot of people that have never been there think, oh man, this is massive, massive mansion. And it's really not. It's kind of like just a nice big house. But it's not like this huge, 30 bedroom house, that people think it is sometimes. But back in the day when Elvis bought it, man, it was out in the country, and it was back then that was considered a mansion for sure.
Hmm. And it's funny you say that because, like, even now in today's time, like, I can't even call it a mansion. It's a home and it's a house. Like, it's fit for a family. So that's what I like to say. It's a
Yeah.
family home.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I think those old pictures are great. Like whenever before all the development was built up, and I mean it was kind of like just a country estate house. It was kind of nice, and really cool place to get away. He and I think that was probably important for him back to get away sometimes back in the day. I mean, 1956, dude, was unbelievable. I don't think there's ever been a year or will ever be a year like that again for music. 64 with the Beatles was big, but 1956 with Elvis Presley, I mean, was huge. And I mean, that's why we're here today. To this day, that happened, and literally, we're still feeling the reverberations of that all the way through the movies in the 68 and the 70s, and all those fans that were, you know, just imagine being like your age. Imagine being your age in 1956 when Elvis Presley comes on the scene big, you know?
I'll be thinking, who's this cool cat? But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but it's crazy thing. Like without 1956, there wouldn't have been a 1968 comeback special. It wouldn't have been a 1973 Aloha from Hawaii. It wouldn't have been 1972 Madison Square Garden, Prince
Yeah.
from Another Planet. None of that. So
And it's a fun what if game too, Landon, because, you know, here we were, just sometimes things work out, for crazy reasons. Elvis got drafted and went into the army for 2 years. That made him, in so many people's eyes back in the day, look like, hey, this is a good kid. This is a good, patriotic young lad. Back in the 50s, that's exactly the way they looked at it. Meanwhile, you've got, people getting in trouble, Johnny Cash getting in trouble, Jerry Lee Lewis getting in trouble, so you get all these cats that are making this new rock and roll thing, look bad. You got Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and those guys dying in a plane crash. It's like all this negative stuff surrounding rock and roll music. And just at the right time, Elvis kind of gets away from it, and has to go do the army. And he's portrayed as like, I think that helped his career as well. I mean, he came back and obviously he got involved with the movies, obviously wanted to be a movie star, and it didn't work out. But, you know, I think if you take a look at uh, Elvis Presley's life as a whole, even the things that didn't go the way he wanted, maybe worked out. I think he was just a special dude, and I think things just worked out.
most definitely, especially like during, as you said, during the army years. Because honestly, if he didn't do the army years, he wouldn't have discovered that opera sound when he was sent out. Because that's where he picked it up, the opera sound in Germany, New Europe area, and that's where he was listening to music on the stereo. and he was just grasping all just foreign music in, and
Yep.
that's what made him do a whole lot of different songs when he came back.
Yeah. And he met Charlie Hodge there, who was taught him how to sing, some different stuff. And yeah, it's just, there's a, sometimes I think there's just, God picks you, man, and you get put in the right positions, even though you're not, you don't know what you're doing. God does. You know what I mean?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. But he chose you for that exact reason, though. He thinks that you can do it, even when you think you can't do it. He knows you can, so that's why you're the chosen one to do that.
Well, we're talking to someone here today, you, that sounds like has chosen to do what you're doing. Um, Man, how does it feel to get out on that stage? How does it feel when people go wild when you're out there moving, dancing, singing? When you have them in the palm of your hand, what does that mean to you? How does that feel?
It's 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 a feeling I can't even portray. Like it's like we're all in this one big ball, and it's so cool because even though we're the performers, we're on stage, we're performing Elvis, and the people in the crowd, they're listening to the Elvis song. We're all Elvis fans. Like that's why we're here. We're Elvis fans, and it's just such a surreal experience to share our love for Elvis as a performer and as a fan in the crowd for ETAs and Elvis, and it's so cool to relive that.
Yeah, man. And yeah, I mean, we're so lucky to just taste this much of what, and we're honestly, we're only tasting the good stuff too, because with all that, I mean, like I said, he had to get a house out in the country away from everyone because he couldn't be alone. He had no privacy. And I think sometimes that's the kind of thing that hurt him too, killed him. Eventually, just he was a prisoner of his own success. But we get to taste, the fans and the adulation and whatnot. It's something uh, to be thankful for, no doubt about it, right?
Couldn't have said it better than myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like especially like he was the first one to do it, and then like it's just his fans, and like we're trying to keep that memory alive of him, and so we're glad and we're able to ride that wave of Elvis. It's
Yeah,
so
man.
cool.
Yeah. Have Now obviously you've done some contests, and obviously you've done shows. Do you have a preference, one you like over the other?
It's funny you ask that. Not really, because I enjoy both because I think even though it's a contest, I still think of it as a show. It's a performance because when I get on that stage, I'm not doing it to try to win. Well, I am, but I'm not just trying to win. I'm also trying to give the people in that crowd a memory of who even seen Elvis perform live. I'm trying to recreate that for them. And for the people who hasn't even seen Elvis, I'm trying to recreate they get to see Elvis on stage. Like that's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of being an Elvis tribute artist. You're being your best Elvis on stage for the people.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there some, I mean, I know we already went through what you like, but um, contests limit you in terms of like, okay, you've got to pick songs strategically based upon what other guys are singing. And, if there's repeats allowed or not, and this guy is singing a big ballad song, so I want to do a mover. There's all these different things that come into play. But whenever it's like all right, I'm going to hire Landon to do a 30-minute show for me. All right, what are you going to do? What are you going to come out? What are you wearing? What's your go-to on that?
Really, I'm just come out with anything 70s, like from 70 to 73. But depending on what suit I choose, if I want to do Vegas, I'm either going to wear the fringe or the I got lucky suit that I got. Or if I'm doing 72, I would do like the powder blue nail or burn love suit, something like that. In 73, of course, a law from Hawaii or
Yeah,
the Cade suit. But if I'm going to try to do a realistic concert that he did, 30 minutes, like I'm going to do CC right and filler songs in between, then try to end it with Can't Fall in Love. Like I try to do as realistic and authentic as possible. That's what I try to do.
I got you, man. That's awesome. Those are the best years of the jumpsuit. There's kind of makes me sad sometimes, and I don't say this in a disparaging way. I think there was a moment in the 70s where you saw Elvis starting to get tired. you know. And it's not that the performances or the vocals or whatnot were less. It's just it was different. Man, there was a fire, and that's the way it is, you know. There was a fire. And there's also a kindling of that you saw again, I think, in Aloha. You certainly saw it in the 68 comeback special. Um, and I think you saw it in some of his early movies too. The twinkle in his eye, certainly saw it in the 50s. But there were these moments, I think, in Elvis's career, you just saw it. It was like, I'm tired. I think he was tired late in the 60s with the movie stuff that he was doing. And I do think that towards the end, there was for many reasons too. And this is in no way, shape, or form, like I said, to be disparaging, but there was something that came over him that just it was a little tired, and I hate that. I do, guys will throw on the some of the older suits and whatnot, and I get it. I mean, it was still Elvis, it was still awesome, but man, I love that there was that twinkle. He had a twinkle in his eye, and you would see it. I love like that's the way it is for that reason.
Most definitely. And it's it as I said, it is sad to see, but I also concede that every time he gets up on that stage, he wants to give it his all, no matter what. Even when he's sad, like especially in like '72 when he was getting a divorce, and like yeah, and then with that divorce, he was going to do Aloha from Hawaii. I'm like, man, that had to be tough on him, and especially like it was so sad to see. But every time he got up on that stage, he tried to give it his all as best as he can.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. If you had to pick, I mean, you mentioned a couple of them already, but what's your what's your favorite thing? Like your favorite song to sing, just out of pure vocal joy, versus your favorite to perform, which you kind of mentioned some of the fast ones like Polk Salad and Patch It Up. But what's the difference? Which songs are your best to sing, favorite to perform?
Favorite to sing, CC Rider, because all I can do is just stand there with the guitar and the microphone stand. There's just it is such an energetic song, but you're in place and you're still moving. But like that opening song, CC Rider, That's Right Mama, All Shook Up, Blue Suede Shoes, even for 1969. That's how he came out, and he came out with a whole lot of energy with that song. He was getting the crowd hyped. But I think that's my favorite to sing. It's really also my favorite to perform, but my favorite to perform is Poke Salad Annie because he did it in such a different way each single time.
Yeah,
Like it's like in the winter of 1970, it was he did slow, and then in the summer he started adding like 1, 2, 3, 4 after it. Like he poke salad 1, 2 all that
yeah,
stuff. Is cool to like look at videos, and I try to look at them as best I can, do them for competitions or shows, and just redo that. And it's just so cool to see.
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love the fact that you really dove into the history of this stuff. I mean, it's apparent you have.
I try because like I my whole thing about doing this is being authentic as I can possible because I know like some people they can do it their way and still show Elvis, but I mean to me it's just all about authenticity. It's just all about if Elvis did it, I'm gonna do it because that was just the Elvis way. So I'm gonna try to do it the Elvis way as best as I can. If I can't, then I'm gonna have to do a little bit the Landon way, but I'm still try to do it the Elvis way throughout the whole entire thing.
Gotcha. Do you ever get that moment on stage where it's like, you're out there performing and there's a voice in the back of your head, like you don't even really want to acknowledge that it's there, but it's there and it's telling you, man, I'm in the groove right now. I'm doing it. I'm doing what Elvis is doing right now. Did you ever get
Woo.
that?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I was in Tupelo a couple of days. I think a couple of days ago. I was doing poke salad Annie. I was like oh yeah, I'm getting to the groove of this, and I just went as crazy as I could possible, and it just I enjoyed it. And just, every time I hear that voice, like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in it now. I can't get out, but I'm
Yeah.
trying my best to stay in it.
Yeah. And it's like when you hear that voice, you're like, you almost don't want to acknowledge it for fear that it'll go away or you'll scare it away. But yeah, man, being in that moment is uh there's nothing like it. you know,
It's everything.
just imagine being, can you imagine being Elvis? And I mean, Elvis was never like, hey, man, I'm really being myself today, you know, but, but I mean, he had to be out there and just be like, I got him, you know?
Oh yeah, most definitely, and especially like after the when he do the first song, CC Rider, That's Our Mama. Yeah, he at least I think he knows I got them now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carries
And
on the energy.
dude, some of the stuff that he pulled off too, just, you know, I, you look at other performers from that era, and there were, listen, man, there's some awesome performers from the 60s and 70s and whatnot that were, you know, alongside him that were fabulous performers. You know, and just their energy and you know, the way like the way Tom Jones moved around, or the way like what's his Jackie Wilson, and James Brown, for crying out loud, that dude's energy is out the freaking door. But like, and they went out and all owned the audience, you know. But there was just something about Elvis that he would do things that like here's a perfect example, Landon. You lost that love and feeling. Okay. Who in their right mind has the kahunas audacity to start that song out like that, you know, all spread eagled out there back to the audience, and then, you know, turning around and doing the all the and it's awesome, right?
Yeah, that's what. It's funny you said that because like Elvis, he said it's just the way I feel. So however I'm feeling, I just do it that way. And it's like you felt like you had to turn your back to the people and just you
Yeah.
lost
Oh,
that
dude,
love.
it's
Oh,
so like it's so and that's what I love about it, because Elvis, man, he could do the poke salads and the patch it ups and all these things and really move around, you know, suspicious minds, all of that. He could do it, you know, and but man, he had this really unique ability to not move
I know.
and have it be powerful. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I will even like to give like for example like during Aloha from Hawaii, what now my love. I
Yes.
mean he didn't have to move at all for that song.
No.
And when I heard that and like at the end part, what now my love, like oh God, it's a
Chills.
masterpiece. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some
So
powerful things that Elvis sang, man. And that was what was so beautiful about it. And don't get me wrong, man, like all those other guys, and there's more cats than them, you know, they had great voices. They had, you know, moves, and they had charm, they had charisma, but there was something, man, about the Elvis Presley that just, dude, there was something different, man. And it's not even, everybody knows this. I started out not being a fan. I didn't know anything about Elvis. You know, people said I looked like him. And this is 27, whatever years ago. Um, and, you know, I learned to become a fan, but it's like, I didn't, the thing that got me right away is not, hey, this guy's handsome, or he dances well, or he looks good, or he sounds great. It was like, I can't get my eyes off him because I need to know what he's doing next. You know, there's something about that cat. Pretty special, man. Pretty special.
oh yeah, it's like and what really got me hooked onto him was how he interacted with his fans and people in general. I'm like,
Yeah.
this mega like he was a mega star.
Yeah.
50s, 60s. I would even say throughout the 60s, even though he was an actor, I mean, 60s, 70s, he was just this huge rock star, mega star, superstar. I'm like, and he still can take time and talk to people like that. And for however long they like, he would probably sit there for an hour talking to this one person. And then he would talk to the next person for a whole nother hour. And like, they could be having a bad day and he would just sit there and talk to them. I was like, it's so cool how he interacts with people
Yeah.
because I think that adds on to him. That's what people are attracted to of him. That he is so human
Yeah.
when he interacts with you. It's like it's so cool to see that.
You see that in his performance too. I love the fact that Elvis, and this is something not everyone gets. Elvis and all of his performances would break the wall between him and the audience. He literally would go out on the stage, and you can see him doing it during "That's All Right, Mama," "Blue Suede Shoes," or "CC Rider." the way he's performing and looking at people, um, the he is trying to interact. He's trying to break that wall down between you and the audience. You know what I mean?
Most
Um,
definitely.
and I find that little tidbit of advice to anybody out there in this crazy business: if you can get out of your own head for a second and quit worrying about sounding and looking like Elvis, but rather just put all your focus on the audience instead of inward on you, you will automatically seem more like Elvis to the audience.
Oh yeah, I agree with that
It's
because it's it's the audience that's watching you. You really can't see what you're doing. You know what you want to do, and you've seen Elvis do it, but it's really all just for the audience. It's for them at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah. And that was something I learned. I knew, but I didn't know what I knew, and I learned it just doing some acting stuff and whatnot. That's a big thing, man. To take the focus off of yourself and put it on the audience. And when you can do that, man, magical things start happening. You know, when you quit thinking about, oh, what am I doing with my hands? What am I, you know what I mean?
Trying to
Or
choreograph your movements.
yeah, or whatever. Or, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, wait, now go. Yep, yep. You know, like that Elvis never did that. Like I said, you know, he never once said, oh, I better be Elvis today. You know, he just didn't. So that's awesome, man. So okay, you've got this out of the gate strong start. All right. I don't think there's anybody that has seen you that's going to say that's not the case. Um, what are your expectations for you? That's, 5 years from now. Where do you want to see? Where is Landon Isabel going to be in 5 years in the Elvis Tribute Artist world?
Really, hopefully headlining a show still, but uh, honestly, I just hope to be still having fun as I am now. I guess it's so much fun to perform Elvis, and that's what I just love doing, just performing Elvis. As long as I could be doing that still for 5 years later, here in the Elvis tribute artist world and Elvis world, then I think I'm pretty successful. I'm doing all right.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love it. Any dreams, hopes, expectations as far as possibly, someday getting, up to the ultimate and winning it? Is that a goal that you have in your life?
Most definitely, I really want to win being the ultimate because like I want to show everyone like I can be the ultimate Elvis. I want to try to get to that level of for myself personally. I
Yeah.
want to try for the best that I can possibly be.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. And listen, you get quality, you're going to have to travel further to qualify than you will to go to the finals.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it. Like if I win, I can just walk the rest of the hey everybody, how y'all doing? I'm like,
Yeah.
how you
Yeah.
get here? I walked. No,
Yeah. Yeah. I got ready at home. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
exactly.
Uh, if you could, time machines. I always think this is a great question because we're all striving in this business to emulate a dude that none of us met. Very few of us actually saw live. Few of us were alive when he was alive. You have a certain different perspective living in Memphis, close to Graceland. I think that probably does have an impact on your outlook. But if you could go back in a time machine, and just pop into Elvis's life for an hour, what year would it be? When would it be? And what would you talk to him about?
I think I probably have a interesting answer. I would say 1977.
Hmm.
And the reason for that is I like he like and we as we all know, like that was his last year being alive, that August 77. That was last moment for him. But to him he probably never knew. And I'd probably like to ask him, how do you think your life went? Like reflect on your life. And I'd like to ask him that and what do you want to do next? After 77, 78, the 80s, are you still gonna be doing this? Are you still gonna be in the music industry? Are you gonna get into acting? Like stuff like that. I would like to ask him all of that. Like, what's next for you, Elvis?
Yeah, man, it would have been. 42 was too young, Landon. 42 is, and I know you're 19 years old, and 42 right now to you seems really far away. But I promise you, when you get to be 42, you're going to be like, man, this was way too young for someone to die.
When I hit 42, I'm gonna be thinking, man, 42, I made it this far.
Yeah.
But
It's a funny
it's
story. That's a funny. It's when I, so Elvis was obviously born in on January 12th. Or, I'm sorry, January 8th. My birthday's January 12th. So 4 days after his. Okay. So literally, when I was 42 on August 20th, 4 days after the 16th when he died, okay, I was like, there was a moment that day where I was like the same number of seconds old as Elvis was when he passed away, you know? And it was just a weird feeling. I was in California when it happened, and it was a weird feeling of like, man, this is way too young for someone to be gone, you know? It's crazy.
kind of funny you said that. It's like it was meant for you to be an Elvis impersonator or a tribute artist, or it was just meant for you to do it. Because I mean,
Dude, you don't even know. I was born on the same day that Elvis performed the alternate Aloha from Hawaii concert.
oh yeah,
So that's January 12th. At 14th, I think, is when he did the actual Aloha from Hawaii. But the alternate one, the backup one, in case anything went wrong, was that I was born that day. It's weird. It's weird.
that's
Yeah.
cool though. You're the only one who get to say that, so that's pretty cool.
Wow. Um, do you see anything coming out of this? Like you're obviously gifted, man. What about Landon Isabel being Landon Isabel? Like singing, acting, anything? Do you have any aspirations of any of that? Being yourself?
Well, well, I haven't pretty, I haven't put much thought to that, but it would be cool to act. It would be cool to do that, but right now, I'm enjoying Elvis, so I'm gonna try to do Elvis as best I can for right now. And even later, I'm still do Elvis. Like Elvis is where it all started for me, so it's like a home. You can't really leave your home. So
There you
I
go.
like to stick with it.
It's a good place to be grounded in. That's no doubt about that. Along the way, I'd encourage you, continue working with the piano, with the guitar, and you're going to get to a point someday where it's like, I want to hear, I want to hear who I am. You will get there, and that's not a bad thing. And you know what? It might sound a lot like Elvis. Who knows? But you just want to hear your own voice at some point, and it's an interesting thing. But I encourage you to do that. Before we go, I just want to say we're excited this year. We're going to have you, I think, coming up to Elvis Explosion in La Crosse. Is that correct?
Most definitely, I cannot wait to head there. I think it'll be my first time going to Wisconsin. It's really
Yeah.
exciting.
So you're going to be, let's see, you've done the Tupelo contest. What other contests have you been in? Any?
I've done, uh,
Well, you were in Las Vegas recently.
yes, I did Vegas, Tupelo, as I mentioned and you mentioned. I've done Pigeon Forge. I'm just trying to name all the ultimates so far, but I think that's pretty much all the ultimates because the other ones I do is Image of the King and stuff like that. I've done Louisiana with Nick Perkins and Jay Dupuis. Like it
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah. 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 I think it's every place has its own flavor, so to speak. The thing about Elvis Explosion is kind of cool is that um, it's more of like a family reunion than a contest. You know, there was a day and time I think where the Elvis world was a little different than it is now. Um, and I think it's one of the last bastions out there of where it feels more like old school, where there's a real camaraderie between the guys, and maybe that's because the top 10 guys all make at least $1,000, if not $10,000. That helps, certainly, but there's just something cool about Elvis Explosion. I really enjoy being a part of on the production end. That it's just special. And we're excited to have you, no doubt about it.
Thank you. I mean, I can't wait to see you perform out there. I hope you get to perform out there. It'll be Like, and I always wanted to go see one of your concerts. I was just watching you on YouTube doing your performance in Legends and Concerts. I'm like, oh man, I gotta see you perform.
Oh, well, yeah. I think I'll probably this year. Joseph Hall will be up there for headliners. David Lee, you know David?
Um, I've seen him in Tupelo this year in Tupelo and last year and other years before. I've been in Tupelo so long.
Yeah,
After the Nashville competition, I did Tupelo, and I did the kids competition for Tupelo like twice, and then like I grew up in Tupelo. If I think about it,
yeah.
because that's where I stayed with and did all the competitions and from kid until now and to the adult ultimates. What I say usually, but
It's so funny how your life parallels Elvis's. It kind of is.
it's funny. Someone told me it's weird to think about. Like Elvis was born in Tupelo, but he was raised in Memphis, and you were born in Memphis, and you're almost raised in Tupelo. I'm like, oh, ain't that something?
Yeah,
It's cool to think about.
yeah. Dude, I think there's something special about it. I don't know because I don't live there, but I would have to think just being in that city, the history and just everything, like the land produces a certain kind of people. It just does. People from the South are different than people from New England, and those people are different from people than, you know, Washington State or Oregon. The land makes just different, and this has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with anything like that. It's just there's different cultures, you know, that that predominate. Like I know I was born in Pennsylvania, grew up in Georgia. All right, totally different,
Mm.
totally different. I was young, and was able to adapt. I loved Georgia. All right, Southern Georgia, loved it. My folks, were older. They didn't adapt like I did. But yeah, the land just creates certain kinds of people qualities, and I think it's kind of cool hearing your story and knowing how close you are to where Elvis was, and I think it has to have some sort of impact. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I mean, and I agree with you. Like, to me, I think of almost every state as like its own country almost here in America because like it's so diverse. Like Tennessee's so different from like Mississippi or Florida or all these other different states, and like everyone in every place is so different. And it's just, I think that's what I like most. Like everywhere I go, someone's different. There's no one really the same. And
Yeah,
it's pretty cool to see.
yeah, that's awesome, man. And listen, as long as you realize that, a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people go through life thinking, well, everybody has to be like me, or they're wrong. No, as long as you realize that people are different, that's the spice of life right there, man. I mean, literally, I've spent most of my adult lifehood traveling around the world. And man, it's been awesome. It's been awesome. And all of a sudden you realize that you have been, rather than, uh, it has been such an uplifting thing to have experienced other people and other cultures other than my own, rather than something that, a lot of people are like, nope, I don't want to change. I don't want to change. But no, man, if you go out and be open minded and experience all of them, man, you'll actually become, I think, literally a better human being because of it. So
Exactly. It makes life interesting, honestly. Like I honestly have some people, even me, I want my life to be boring a little bit sometimes, but I want it to be interesting. I like to experience different things, do different things, and see different people and meet different people. And that's why I love being the Elvis Tribute Artist, where like you never know who you get to meet. And who knows, you might become family with them. It's just so cool.
dude, you are on the right path. I can tell. That's awesome. That's so good to hear, man. I love your spirit. I love your attitude. I'm becoming a fan myself just talking to you. So that's awesome. How do people get? I mean, I don't know. Do you have social media? Do you have a website? Are you doing anything like that to promote yourself out there?
Oh yeah, I got Instagram and I got Facebook. I've
Okay.
I'm on there under Landon, and then I have L dash this ETA VIS ETA. That's a part of that's probably my whole name on both accounts. And you can probably find me there. And if that don't work, put Isabel too, ISABEL after Landon. I think you'll probably find me on there on both.
All
I
right.
think
Do you have performance video out there and everything like that?
most definitely. I got some stuff on Facebook. I got some stuff on Instagram. Even there's stuff on me on YouTube. I be see under different accounts and stuff, and it's just so cool to see that some people just post me. I'm like, really? You recorded me and put me on YouTube under your account? Cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Any big shows, events coming up this year, 2025, 26, anything you want to mention out there?
I mean, honestly, once a month, I'm at Marlowe's. Come to Marlowe's. I'm in there performing, singing Elvis. I'm trying my best and, just getting some stage time there. And it's pretty cool to meet different people. They come around. Some say they came to hear me. Some say they came to see Elvis. I'm like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So,
man. That's awesome. Have you had any talks at all? Anybody over at EP ever reach out, talk to you, since you're like right there?
no, not yet. I hope so. Soon. But I don't think so right now. But no, I'm here if they need me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hey, EPE, this is ETA Files reaching out to you. You've got a young buck right down the road from you all, ladies and gentlemen. Hit them up, man. Hit them up. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Uh, Man, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you for having me. I mean, it's such an honor to be here with you. You're so legendary in the ETA. It's I don't think I haven't heard one person that don't know you. And if they
Legendary
don't know you,
goofball. Legendary goofball. That's what it is, Landon. Well, we're awesome, man. We'll see you up at La Crosse. A lot of people who tune into this particular program are coming up to La Crosse, so they're going to be looking for you. You're going to have a whole new fan base by the time you leave La Crosse, and it's going to be awesome, man. I encourage you, keep on going, and if you need anything along the way, let me know.
most definitely thank you. And hey, everybody from lacrosse, I wanted
That's
to speak to
awesome.
them too.
That's awesome, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only. Watch out, he's coming. The one and only Landon Isabel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in this week to the ETA Files. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the ETA Files community. And if you're looking for something a little different, be sure to stop by my podcast, The Ryan Files. Keep rocking, my friends, and I'll see you next week with another story from the Elvis Tribute Artist world. In the meantime, check out these video links below.